Hey everyone. So today I decided to test out this super cheap Switch 2 dock that I got from Amazon. I think this thing was like $9. I'll just double check. I'll put it in the description. Super cheap. So cheap I was skeptical it would even work. But it supposedly works on Switch 2, Switch 1, and other things. So today I'm going to test it out. This is the box. It's called the Gamorek 3-port Ultra Slim Data Hub for Switch 2. This is what it looks like. And I thought it was curious because I've seen this exact same design all over Amazon under different brands. JSAUX even has one that looks very similar to this. They all have this very similar, like blue and orange kind of look to it. Um, I I suspect it's the same company working on all of these, and they're just rebranding it. But this is what it is. This one goes by the brand of Gamorek, but I wanted to test it out, and I'm not really doing anything special here. Um, I'm just going to use an HDMI cable. And then this is not even the official Switch plug. This is just like, I think just a 100-watt charger that I'm using for my MacBook. And I'm going to give it a shot, see how this works. I did test it out a little bit and was surprised. So let's just do it live on a video. I'll hook it up here. And what I want to test out is, of course, the Switch 2, but I also have a Switch 1 and a Steam Deck we'll try out. So first, let's start with the Switch 2. I'll take off the Joy-Con so I have some kind of controller and plug this in. And in case you ask, no, this will not work with the top USB port that does not have video out, and that's true of any dock you use. That's just not going to work with the top USB port. You've got to use the bottom USB-C port. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. Okay, so you can see it acts like it's plugged into the dock. I think I need to turn it on with the controllers. Let's see what happens here. And look at that, it works. Works pretty well. Colors look good too. I'm not noticing anything off. I also tested this on a TV, and colors look good there too. I saw some reviews of similar products mentioning washed out colors, but I think that's an issue that's not unique to this Switch 2 dock. I think the Switch 2 in general has some washed out colors. I followed some calibration guides that seem to help, and it looks good here too. So I'm not seeing anything off here. If anything looks discolored, it's probably just the video, but over here on my end, it's looking good, and everything's working. Supposedly, this dock supports 4K 60 hertz, 4K 60 or 2K 120, um, which is not really going to be an issue on the Switch 2, I believe, because although technically I believe it can support 120 hertz, I can't imagine many, if any, games are really going to take advantage of it. Um, Maybe it's just a compromise you make, but it's working on Switch 2. Check that out. Let's try out Switch 1, original Switch. So I'll do the same thing here. Take off the Joy-Con, plug it in, and we got the indicator like it's plugged into the dock. Nothing's showing up here. Let's see what happens with the Joy-Con when I turn those on. Okay, look at that. It's working. So once it's detected the Joy-Cons, it turned on just like if it's plugged into your TV. And we show that it's charging. I should have pointed that out on the Switch 2, but we also saw that it was charging on the Switch 2. And same, colors look as expected. I'm not seeing anything weird like screen tearing or anything like that. So apparently works on Switch 1. So that's awesome. And finally, let's try Steam Deck. Let's see how we do here. Okay, so plugged in the Steam Deck. And this is just a standard Steam Deck LCD. Let's plug it in. Seems to be detecting it. Oh, there we go. Okay, look at that. So it works on Steam Deck also. Cool. So that's the Gamorek USB hub. Seems like a pretty awesome alternative to the standard Switch 2 dock, especially if you're going to be using multiple devices. I think this will be especially helpful for travel. You don't want to bring the whole dock. I believe you still need to make sure you're using a charger that still meets the power requirements for the Switch 2. So this is well and above because it's for a MacBook, but something to keep in mind if you're using a third-party charger, same thing HDMI, that should meet the same specs as the Switch 2. One thing to call out here are the ports. So this one is where you put your power. This is HDMI. And then you just have one USB-A port, and that's it. Um, so if you have like multiple accessories, multiple charger, multiple controllers you want to use, you're only limited to the single USB-A port. And this is also missing an Ethernet adapter. Um, I would imagine, I would hope you could plug in a USB Ethernet adapter, but I don't have one handy that I can try out. And because of this, this won't be replacing my primary dock in the living room, but this would be pretty awesome in the bedroom or in other rooms like this monitor here where I want to connect the Switch or for traveling. But pretty cool. I think this could also be an interesting alternative if you don't care about Ethernet. This could be an interesting alternative if you're using something like the D-brand Killswitch, um, or even the Savage Raven stand grip, or other cases that don't dock in the official dock. You could replace your dock with this, and then all you have to do is plug this in, which would enable you to pretty much use any case on your TV. So those are my initial impressions. I'm going to continue to use this on one of my secondary TVs, see how it works. If I have any issues, maybe I'll update it here. But otherwise, just wanted to share. Thank you.